Hey folks, Vortex here and welcome to my review of the Kotori Audio Vampire. As you can see, really nice kind of artwork. And this is a company that's based out of Singapore, so obviously a bit different to like the Chinese gear I try. And yet, as usual, full disclaimers, I'd like to have to thank the company for sending it out to me, as in Kotori Audio, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video, nor thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, obviously I've got no experience with this product at all, or the company. And this is a single balanced armature model, and it's priced I think 99 USD, and uses a Knowles Balanced Armature. And yeah, let's just get into it. So let's see what you get. So obviously there's the brand, Kotori or Kotori, I'm not quite sure pronunciation. Yeah, really nice artwork. There's the brand, some information on the back. Obviously 50 ohm impedance. I think the sensitivity is 118 dB if I'm not mistaken. Obviously the BA just full range, you can see 20 Hz to 18 kHz, weight 3 grams, very low. Obviously there's the cable information, a bit of information about the internals, the shell and the design. So yeah, looking forward to these, a bit different. They look really nice. There's a bit of artwork there. Give it a bit of a wiggle. There you go. Bit of information there, a bit of a slogan I think. Let's lift this up, a bit of paperwork. Just how to use it. Don't make that mistake. Earphones and that's it. Bit of common sense and stuff like that. So take this out, pop that there. So let's just get one of these. I like how the logos are different on each. Very small. Bit of dampening in the nozzle, I think. I think about here there's like a tuning filter for the armature. Again, very light. Build quality seems excellent. Seems a little bit of depth, but I guess the BA is here, right where my finger is. Some tips. Six tips. Obviously in here should be the cable. If I can get it open. Let's have a look. Bit of padding. There's the brand in there. So yeah, like I said, 3.5 seems a really nice cable. Obviously right angle connector, which I do prefer. Really thick, obviously Y split. Chin slider there, I think. Yep. Metal, because it's cold to the touch. So yeah, I'm quite curious of these. They look really nice. Single balanced armature to do full range, so I'm quite curious of what that's like. As usual, I'm going to spend a bunch of time with them. And then obviously I'll graph them after I've listened to them. And then yeah, I'll see you sometime in the future and in the next clip. So welcome to my review section of the Kotori Audio Vampire, which is a proper name. So anyway, this looks like with the cable, and this is their carbon 3 version, I think. So right angle 3.5, like my favourite, really flexible cable, really soft, which I do like. Y split, which is a bit chunky. Chin slider basically does nothing, but it may be useful for you. And yeah, so it looked like obviously on the buds. It's really small shell design. Obviously it's not symmetrical. They are unique to each one. That's what they look like. Yeah, cable is spot on. No issues at all. Good, which is good stuff. I don't think you really need balance really. I don't think you really gain from it. So comfort and fit. Now these are an all-BA set. And they are not a big set. So it's a single Knowles armature per side. You can see the shell's very curvy, and so there's no sharp edges. So very comfortable, very secure. And because of that, these isolate extremely well, which is probably one of the points of these, really, one of the purposes. And yeah, just don't be wary of that. They can isolate too well. So if you're in a noisy environment, you have to hear. Please take these out so you can hear what you're doing. But otherwise, yeah, they isolate extremely well, which is either good or bad, depending on your situation. The timbre on this set, well, it is a single balanced armature doing the full range. So the timbre obviously could be better, but it's not bad. You know, it is an armature doing the whole, you know, doing as much as the frequency response as possible. So it's not as natural as a dynamic driver, but it is what it is. So resolution and details. Now I find them kind of average, really. I always find a balanced armature, well, a single balanced armature trying to do everything. Can struggling, I'd say, more complex, or fast place kind of fast bass music. But it is what it is. But it's okay. But it could be better, to be honest. Pound sensitivity on this set, I think it was 50 ohms. It's not too bad, just a little bit harder than normal, but it's no big deal. They're not like planars or anything like that. Yeah, for that's it. Just take one of these tips off so you can have a look. And that's a good look at the shell. Good. Looks a little bit thick, but it's not too bad. And it keeps these. It's hard to see. There's some sort of dampening in there, and it keeps the tips on secure. So I'll put the graph on there so you can have a look. Now, I had no idea what these are like before I heard them. So obviously I graphed them after I finished. That's what I prefer. So bass, now you can see these are definitely have a warmer kind of tuning. Now, the sub bass does lack a bit. But for like electronic music, it does have enough like slam to the music. It does bleed a bit, which we'll get to in a bit. But bass-wise, it has probably a little bit more than I expected. But I prefer more. Obviously, that's my preference. It also depends on your use case for these. Now, these I think are probably better for more monitoring use or something like that because of the isolation that they offer. But yeah, bass on this set is okay. It's just not what I prefer. That's just my opinion, but you may like this. Yeah, so I prefer more of a obviously elevation and obviously more sub bass. For electronic, they work okay, but there's better picks for that. Mid range is super smooth and warm, as you can see. It does bleed from the bass into the mids, so I wouldn't call them muddy, but they sound really smooth. Now, male vocals can sound thick. And that's it. So upper mid range is really smooth. So vocals sound kind of in place, not really too far back or forward. Well, there can be sometimes, but I'll get to that. But yeah, on the whole, the treble is warm and smooth. Is probably the best way to describe it. Probably a little bit too much bleed from the bass, and you lack a bit of detail there, really. Treble, which is kind of the biggest, for my choice, letdown, is they do lack a bit of extension, and I don't really like that 3K peak. It can sometimes make female vocals sound kind of nasally, if that's the best way to describe it. But some other vocalists, it's fine. It just depends on obviously who you're listening to. Apart from that, it does seem to lack detail in the treble, for what I could find. Apart from that, that's it. There's not much to say really about the treble. Again, I didn't know what to expect before I tried these. These are definitely not tuned to how I prefer them. Again, a single balanced armature is doing the whole frequency response. But yeah, the 3K peak is not what I prefer. There's also no sibilance or anything like that. Yeah, I think because it lacks a bit of treble, it lacks the detail that you probably miss. Again, unfortunately, this set is not for me. Again, I think that obviously this is how they've tuned it obviously to their preference. It also does have a dampener in front of the BA to take some of the harshness out as well, which is in the material. And I think that's it. I'm not much to say. The treble is okay. I was probably expecting more, but then again, I don't really review that many single balanced armature sets. Yeah, so conclusion, what do I think of the Vampires? On the whole, they're not personally for me. I do like these are from a boutique manufacturer, so obviously $99 isn't bad for a single Knowles armature that's doing the full range. I like the tips. I think I've seen these before on something. They look familiar. Cable's good. I like the build. I like the build quality. The cable works really, really well. the isolation, the fit, the comfort, the artwork on the packaging, it's all very, very, very good. Ultimately, it's not tuned for what I like. Again, probably a little bit too much bleed into the mid-range. You may like that or you may not, but I'm just going from what my thoughts are on the Vampires. Again, it's done. I think it does quite a good job considering to sing on armature, and obviously that way they do have limitations. I think it has obviously a particular use case really, but yeah, apart from that, I think it performs for what it is quite well. It's just personally not for me. I think that's pretty much it. It's not a bad product. It's just not a product that suits kind of my use case really, and that's it. Pretty good channel matching as well for balanced armatures. Obviously for some that's, I'm not sure if it's handmade, but obviously these are made in very small numbers compared to something like KZ where they just churn out thousands of the things really. And I think that's pretty much it. If you think I've missed anything, please do let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.